Do Catholics pray to Mary?
There's just something about Mary.
Well, yeah, but we don't worship Mary. We honor her, we venerate her, we show devotions to her. That's another misconception that a lot of non-Catholics have when it comes to our connection to Mary. We do pray to Mary in the way we pray to saints, but more in a role of an intercessor. The thought process is if you kind of want to get some extra pull out of Jesus, you go to his mother and ask his mother to put in a good word for you. This is no different from special intentions you might offer up or the general intercessions we have at a Sunday Mass. You have people praying on behalf of another. Intercession means on behalf of. So when we pray to Mary or pray to any of the communion of saints, we are asking for intercessions. We're asking that saint or Mary to just put in a good word for us or whatever it is that we're praying for. Take that prayer over to God the Father and please work something out with him in arrangements. I know you might not be comfortable hearing that idea. And as a kid, I used to question why go to a saint or go to his mother when you can just go right to the source. And we all have equal access. We all have equal access to God. It just comes down to spiritual preference. Okay, some people are a little bit intimidated by God. Some people think that maybe God's a little bit too busy for them. And maybe you find, maybe a saint that you relate to more. Or maybe one of those lesser known saints that might have a little bit more time on their hand. And they might want to do whatever they can to help you because they're so bored. It's all spiritual preference. Now, we do have devotions that are set up to just adore Mary and to recognize her role and to show respect. In the Catholic tradition, May is called the May crowning. It's the month of Mary. Or a lot of times you put crowns or flowery crowns on Mary. That's not us worshiping Mary. That's not us divinizing Mary, treating her as if she's a deity or another god. It's just respect.
Mother, I always love her. So treat her right, treat her right.
And I understand that from a neutral, objective perspective that some might ask questions, but that's what this is about, is to try to get rid of those misconceptions. So we venerate Mary. The word venerate means adore, honor, respect Mary. Some examples of venerating are of course, the feast days of the Immaculate Conception, the feast days of the feast day of the Assumption, wearing Mary medals, praying the Rosary. A lot of statues of Mary. In the Catholic faith, there are a lot of people choosing the name Mary or Mary Ann in reference to Mary and her mother Ann. Litanies and novenas, which are specific forms of prayer that you can use for any saint or for any occasion. And these are all just, again, ways of honoring Mary. I understand from another perspective it looks like it's worship, but it's not. People like to show praise for things they can relate to and things that they can respect. I mean, we have memorials all over Washington, D.C. of people who are dead because we do value them, we recognize them, but we're not worshiping them. Three more things about Mary. Mary is regarded as being the first disciple because she's the first person to essentially believe in Jesus. Catholic tradition also teaches that Mary has a perpetual virginity, that she is forever a virgin. Other Christian churches say that Mary was just a virgin when she gave birth to Jesus, as is portrayed in Matthew and Luke. But in the Catholic faith, we say she is a virgin forever. And finally, like we call Mary the Mother of God, we also refer to Mary as the Mother of the Church. Now, she gave birth to Jesus, and the Church was all about Jesus, so in that indirect way, she's the Mother of the Church in that regard. She's also present at Pentecost, which is the birthday of the church, so she's there to see the church off. As stated, she's the first disciple. And what's the church? Well, a church is a collection of disciples, a collection of followers of Jesus. And a final reason why we call her the Mother of the Church is that in John's crucifixion scene, Jesus is on the cross and Mary, his mother, is at the foot of the cross standing next to some other people, including the disciple whom Jesus loved. Tradition usually says the disciple whom Jesus loved is Evangelist John or Apostle John. We don't know who that person is. But Jesus says to that disciple, "Here is your mother." And he says to his mother, "Here is your son."
Jesus saw his mother and the disciple he loved standing there.
"Here's your son."
Then he said to the disciple,
She is your mother.
From that time, the disciple took her to live in his home.
And this disciple is a follower. And in a sense, Jesus is saying, here's an adoption. Mary, adopt these disciples.
You're gonna live with me now. Huh? Yeah, I'm gonna take care of you. Because I love you.
And go start the church.
There's just something about Mary.